Give me just a second here. We're going to see if the stream is going to fire itself up correctly. And one moment. Hold, please. All right. It looks like we are up and running. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cookin with the Hula-Cow. That is me, because I run Hula-Cow Studios, and there's a long story about that. Anyway, tonight we have a huge cooking stream, and there's going to be a lot of stuff, and we are going to completely wreck my kitchen. It's going to be great. Because what we're going to do tonight is, as you know, in some previous streams, I've cooked little, breakfast sandwiches, lunch sandwiches, sliders, and things like that. And then we kind of vacuum them into Ziploc bags and stick them in the freezer. Well, I'm out of food, and I'm finding that I like more variety than eating the same thing every single day like a dog. So, we're going to make a lot of stuff tonight, along the same line, of course. We're going to do lamb sliders. We're going to do haggis and black pudding sliders. I might lose some of you with that one there, but don't worry too much about it. I am also going to do beef and mushroom hoagies. I'm going to do quiche and some breakfast stuff. So let me go and check on something real quick, and I will be right back. Alrighty, so it's time to start cooking. First things first, we're probably not going to do the... Yeah, you know what? We can get the quiche going first because we need to do eggs for all the biscuits and things like that. So first and foremost, the hoagies are going to go on Hawaiian hoagie rolls. The haggis and black pudding sliders are going to go on dinner rolls, because that's how I had them when I was in Scotland. The other sliders are going to do the same thing, and then we've got going to make a burger mixture and things like that. And we're going to do what my grandparents colloquially called shit on a shingle. So that's going to be for my dinner tonight. But first, we're going to pre-prep all the freezer stuff. So, let's get started. Good starting place for this is going to be to get our patties and burgers and things like that ready. Bear with me a minute. We're getting out all our stuff. Okay, we got lamb sliders, we got hamburger, we got sausage. That stove's going to be a mess when I'm done. And we've got some sour cream. And as with everything, we have a whole bunch of cheese. We're also going to need a lot of eggs this evening. So, and I really am thinking that what we ought to do is get the quiche in the oven first, because, that way we're not just sitting there staring and waiting for it at the end. So let's go ahead. And start working on our quiche. Now, I figure about 7 eggs are going to do the trick. Hi, Jesse the Starcatcher. How you doing this evening? Hope you're having a great Friday afternoon and that you're enjoying the stream. We're cooking up a lot of stuff this evening, so if you stick around, I'll show you how to make all of it. First things first, we're going to do some quiche here. So we're going to start with eggs, and let's see, we've got 12, we've got about 17 eggs. I think we're going to do 5 eggs apiece for each set of sliders. which leads us 7 for the quiche. Now, I'm going to move this meat out of the way real quick. A good trick for doing eggs, and I'm going to swap these bowls, is to crack them over one bowl and then to put them in another, so that if you need to fish out shells or anything like that, or if you need some place to put the shells, you have it. There we go. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. Uh-oh. There we go. Case in point. 5. Uh-oh. 6. 7. Let me go get rid of this real quick. Of course, everyone who comes here is loved. All right, now, let's wipe up some of this because I've kind of done it a little bit messier than I should have. Always wash your hands when you're dealing with eggs and other things like that that could potentially give you salmonella. But before we worry about that too much, we're going to put a few things in our eggs. So, first up, we have got a couple of beautiful little Roma tomatoes here, which we will get to in a minute. And also, we're going to want to whisk the eggs first and then whisk our vegetables in. So, a little salt. This doesn't shake very fast. I'm not putting 6 pounds in it. Little black pepper, and we can season this up however you want. And so for me, I want a little celery salt, a little coriander, and a little sage, if I can find it. There we go. Now, add milk, because milk makes it fluffy. And then all you have to do from that point is to whisk your eggs. Make sure all your spices don't drift to the top of the bowl. Get that well incorporated, and we'll see how it's nice and foamy and fluffy and awesome. We'll set that to the side for a minute, and then we're going to add some tomato and onion to our eggs. So, knock the bottoms off. There we go. By the way, if any of you guys are watching and trying to talk to me, I can see the chat, but I have to walk over to do it. So I try to check every now and then. And, hey Deb, how's it going, man? Yeah, sometimes I'm a little slow on the uptake. So if I don't answer you right away, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's just because I don't see you. How you doing this evening, Deb? You doing, that would be the Bacon Maker. He is in chat, or was at one point, and he's absolutely awesome. But like I said, the layout of my kitchen is such that the computer with which I view you guys is not right necessarily always in my line of sight. And this one I'm actually going to leave a little bigger because I want some nice little wedge-shaped doolollies. That's enough of those. Alright, so we have tomatoes in our egg that are falling everywhere. Now let's go get some onion. I'll be right back. You're okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay is better than not okay. All right. We're only going to use about half of this onion for right now. That is an angry onion. Whew. I'm going to turn this cutting board over when I get all the peel off of this so that we don't get peel in our food. Nothing like having onion skin in your mouth to really start off the morning right. There we go. There we go. Now, if you cut your onion into like little half rings and you set it on its side, you can mince it really, really fine, and it's not difficult to do. And they're a lot more pleasant this way than having them in great big pieces. What I'm actually going to do before I throw these into the quiche is I'm going to throw them in a skillet real quick and knock the edge off of them because I don't like raw onion. I like it cooked. So meet me over at the stove and we will saute these a bit. Here we go. We just need a little pan. Yeah. All right. And we just need a little butter. Let's see. Yep, I'll just order out. Well, see, the reason I cook all this and like this is that once I get done with this, I'm going to have all kinds of little snack sandwiches in the freezer, and I'm going to have quiche in the fridge, and for my efforts, I mean, I'll be able to go for days without actually having to cook anything because it'll all be in the freezer, you know, a few minutes in the microwave or the toaster oven, and I'm good to go. So let's huck this in the pan and get it going. You can put anything you want into a quiche. And here's the trick. Because I'm heating up those onions before I stick them in the quiche, I'm also going to want to let them cool off a bit because they will start cooking the egg around them and it gets kind of weird if you do that sometimes. But for right now, we're going to move my butter somewhere safe. And we're going to take that piece that you saw me cut off earlier, and we are going to grease our pan with it. Now, last time you guys saw me do something like this, I had a little squirt can of Pam. And it works fine, but I'm running out, and I'm going to want some a little later than this evening in the stream for something else. And I want to be sure I've got it. So, for now, butter it is. Of course, after that, you really want to wash your hands. Now, our onions are kind of getting sauteed. And when we finish these up in a minute, I'm going to show you guys another trick about keeping your pans clean really easily. In the meantime, we're going to start prepping for some of our other stuff. So I'm going to wash this cutting board. Yeah, very nice. And if you've had an area where you've been working with eggs or something like that, it's always a good idea to clean it off with a paper towel, just so that you don't get egg on your cloth towel. Of course, if you don't want to be wasteful, you can have a couple of towels and just swap out and then wash them all when it's done. But then, of course, you've got to run the washing machine, and you're right back where you started. So, I'm sure that at some point or another, either I or someone else will. Yeah. I or someone else will do the math and figure out which is the most cost-effective or efficient. But in the meantime, our onions are done. So we'll stick those on a plate to cool, and I will show you how to clean a skillet. You get it while it's good and hot. See all that steam coming up off there? Oh yeah. You get it while it's good and hot without burning your hands, mind you. Don't let your fingers touch it. And either use a thick towel or sponge or something like that. And even if you burn something to it, it should come off real easy because it's blazing hot, and when you run water in it, the pan expands and contracts at a different rate than the food stuck to it. And you have a nice clean pan without having to rip your arm off trying to clean it. Clean as a whistle. All right, we'll come back to this one in a second, but for right now, we have onions. We put them in our eggs. And now we have the makings of a quiche. Although, I might have some spinach in the fridge. And if it's still good, we'll throw that in there. And if it's not, we won't. Let's go check. Our spinach might be dubious at best, but let's see if we can pick out a couple of good-looking leaves and add some color to this, because spinach is always good for you. Popeye says so. Oh yeah, this is still good. Look at this, guys. There was a couple weird-looking leaves on the top, but this looks great, doesn't it? Yeah, we're having spinach in our quiche, and let me check the chat real quick. Oh, I thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've had the hair for a long, long time. Well, obviously, but I mean, I've kept it long for a long, long time. And I like how it feels, and it's how I'm comfortable. So, I have no plans to change it anytime soon. That said, we're going to julienne up this spinach real good. And we're going to stuff it right in our quiche. Now that can go someplace. Give me a second here. All right. Now if you guys like spinach, you're in for a treat. And if you don't, well, don't put any in your quiche. But just knock that right off. Into there. I still have not mastered the art of cooking for you guys without kind of making a low-grade mess on my countertop, because I'm kind of working around the camera and the laptop and things like that. But eventually I am going to learn how to cook like a normal, professional, clean and neat human being while showing you guys how to do it. In the meantime, though, we get our bowl here, and we'll just dump our quiche ingredients in here. Now, we're not done yet, because the thing that every quiche needs is some cheese. And this one looks like it could use another egg, too, but we'll get to that in a second. Cheese. So in our case tonight, no, I think that's enough egg. It's just kind of taking a minute to seep in through the spinach. So put however much cheese you want in this thing. that looks about right. And here's something really cool. I have got some leftover goat cheese sprinkles from when I did the chicken Caesar wraps. Let's open this bad boy up and make sure this stuff is still good, and if it is, and it is, looky there. Yummy. We're putting some goat cheese in there. So, the last trick is going to be, you want the quiche to rise nicely. So a little dash of baking powder, I'd say about a tablespoon, which is about that much. Now, take all that and fold it together nicely. Oh yeah, that's plenty of egg. There we go. Oh, that's going to be nice. I do like quiche. You can cut it up into, this is going to make about 4 large pieces. That will be my breakfast for a couple of days. And it's going to be real nice. Here we go. There, that's nice and even. And hey, a couple pieces of spinach. That's not going to hurt anything. Just push those down in there. Now we need to cover it and bake it. So let me get some Reynolds wrap. That is the last of my tin foil. We all lucked out tonight. All right, let me also show you something in general. If you're baking something and you don't want the moisture to escape, take and run your fingers around the inside edge of the pan. And you see how it makes that little dip reservoir right here? Well, when the evaporating moisture comes up, it will hit that and it will roll back down the sides of the pan and it will keep whatever is in there from drying out. So, let's go and stick this in the oven, shall we? Baking at, say 385 degrees, because I don't want to watch this thing like a hawk for the next 10 minutes. However, speaking of 10 minutes, I am going to set the timer for 10-minute intervals so that I can keep a good eye on it while I'm doing all this other stuff. Now, let me... Goat cheese is all cheese is wonderful. Gotta go throw away the container though and put our baking powder away. Baking powder, by the way, makes the quiche rise, and it's nice and fluffy and airy and wonderful, and it's add some, you'll see. Now, next up, we are gonna do, I could have sworn I had 2 things of beef, but I don't think I do. So we're going to do, well, let me check and make sure I don't first, because I was going to do beef sandwiches, chopped beef, and a sauce with it, a cream sauce. But I was also going to do those hoagies like I tried to do last week, and they didn't stream correctly. So if I've got enough hamburger, I'll do both of them. If I don't, I'll pick one or the other. But let's see if I've got enough burger first. And if I don't, I'll just do 2 streams. Okay, so I don't have enough burger to do both, so while I'm prepping the lamb, you guys decide and tell me in the chat. Do you want me to do beef and mushroom hoagies, or do you want me to do chopped beef sandwiches on rye bread with kind of a sour cream sauce? In the meantime, let's go with the sausage and the lamb sliders. We also are going to be doing haggis and black pudding sliders like I had in Scotland, and they're wonderful. Unfortunately, in America, you cannot get real haggis because we cannot use sheep's pluck as an ingredient, which is the lungs and several other organs. Of course, we can eat chitlins, but we can't eat sheep lung. I don't know who decided that, but haggis is wonderful. We've got an American approximation. right here, and we'll be heating that up and using it along with the black pudding. First things first, though, let's commence to making a huge greasy mess of my stove with this sausage. New cutting board. Actually, you know what? That one's just had vegetables on it. We can go ahead and use it. I cleaned it after the eggs. So, quick trick for doing sausage patties. Get you a serrated knife, which I might be out of. I don't remember this knife, but it might work. Let's see. All right. So, serrated knife. Just slice right through. 1, 2. This serrated knife sucks. Let me get a real one. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We have 6 sausage patties and a messy knife, but we'll deal with that in a minute. Okay. Now, get yourself a plate. Take your sausage patties, and you don't want them falling apart in the pan, so you shape them and kind of get them together real good. Get them approximately the right size for the muffins, and then just get them ready to go on the stove. Yeah, that knife really did suck. And you can like ball these up a little bit and then reshape them into patties if they're not being cooperative, but I kind of like to start with them in circles because most of the time if you start with them round like that, the edges still kind of have a little definition and they don't get all thin on the edges to where they get overdone. So, you know, if you just pop it out of its little ring here and then just kind of compress it a little bit and then give it a couple of pats, it tends to be about the right shape, consistency, and they hold together all right. Right now I'm using Tennessee Pride sage flavored sausage. If you're a Jimmy Dean kind of person, well, that's fine too. If you want to make your own sausage, we'll go over that one day and I'll teach you guys a recipe for it. But yeah, really, I mean, any kind of sausage you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm missing some meat here. Let me finish this up here real fast. That's going to be a big one. That'll be a hearty breakfast one morning. And then, yeah, just get the extras from both ends. And again, those will not be perfect patties. You just kind of pop it out. Then you'll mix them together and make a nice patty out of the remainder. And then I'll go throw away this plastic wrapper and we'll get over to the stove and start cooking this up. Now, give me a second, I'll be right back. Alright, before I start on this, we wash our hands, because, yeah, they're a greasy mess. Like my stove is about to be. Okay. So, since we only have a certain amount of burger, I think we're going to do the burger with, well, you know, we might split it up, do half and half, I don't know. That said, we get our sausage over by the stove. Get us a pan. And it's a non-stick pan and sausage greases itself, so we really do not need any butter or non-stick or anything like that in it. But I find if you put a little salt in the bottom of the pan in those instances, it still gives you a little grit to kind of keep these things from doing anything that they shouldn't. One other thing that I might do to preserve my stove a little bit is to throw a lid over this. Also helps it cook more evenly. But that's probably not going to save me. All right. I'm going to wash this plate, and we will use it for the hoagies and the lamb. So now, for the hoagies, we are going to need mushrooms and more onion. And they're going to simmer in a sauce for a while. The sauce is going to be nice and rich. And so we're going to use beef bouillon and Vegemite for it. Also, real quick trick before that gets going too much. If you take a plate and, they're running four-wheelers. If you take a plate and you stick a piece of towel paper on it, it will be a nice place to put those when they come out, and it'll absorb some of the excess grease off of them. I'll go set this to where it's convenient, and I'll be right back. Also, let's check the chat. Hey man, Pants, how's it going? Glad to see you lurking there. I mean, you said you were lurking. I'm not calling you out or anything. Sorry. But yes, very glad to have you here. Let's see. Just hit it! Hey, how's it going, man? Good to see you too. I'm glad everyone's here. Feel free to chat in the chat. Like I said earlier, I'm not exactly responsive because my attention's on the cooking, but I do try to check from time to time. So if you guys want to chit chat, I'm all up for it. Although again, I've got to keep an eye on everything, especially these sausage patties. So don't mind me. Everyone talk amongst yourselves and to me whenever you feel like it. Although if I don't answer immediately, it's nothing personal. That said, we are going to start on some of these hamburger hoagies. I think we'll do that, and I will save the... Man, I really wanted to do the other ones too. Well, all right, we'll just do the hoagies because they freeze and they keep, and the other one won't. So, plus they're more interesting. Those might need to be flipped. Keep an eye on those for me while I crack into this. Uh-oh. Hang on. Yeah, they want flipped. Ooh, I took the lid off and it smells good in here. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see, but as a left-hander, I can't do the whole right-handed thing. So if I am in your way, I apologize. And there's our quiche alarm. So let's check on our quiche and see what it's doing. It's fine. Give it another 10 minutes. And again, we start on the hamburger for the hoagies. So once again, we clean our cutting board, or get a new one. In this case, we are going to want to... Oh, that's right, I'm out of serrated knives. Shoot. Well, I guess I got to clean this one. I hate cleaning this one because it is wicked. I like to let the dishwasher handle it for me. Let me turn those down a bit. Okay. Okay. So in this case, the hoagie buns are long and thin, so we're going to shape these to match. And I'm aware that my sausage is making alarming spitting noises. In this case, you roll these into kind of ovals, and then we'll flatten them out. So about like this. See? Those are going to be our little mini hoagies, and they're going to be great. And then after I do this one, I'm going to have to go and check on that sausage because it is it's a little alarming sounding at the moment. Well, come on out. Come on. Roll it into a ball. Roll it into an oval. See what's going on in the chat. Gonna make a quick snack. Jesse, that sounds like an excellent idea. Make you a snack, cook along with me. All right. Let me go check on this sausage before I continue shaping these patties. But again, long and thin to fit the buns. Wash your hands. Always wash your hands. Nice hot water. Yeah. Okay. Those are looking good and they're smelling great. They're also not cooking very fast because I turned the heat down, which in retrospect was a really good idea. Okay, back to making hoagie patties really quick. Oh. Very nice. I think we'll probably get about 5 of them out of here. Okay, and I'm going to go check chat and see what's going on. You got Chinese food delivered by a guy you know. That's wacky. Years ago, I had a co-worker who was always spoiling for a fight, and I mean, he'd try to pick a fight with customers and things like that. That was back when I lived in North Carolina, and I'm not getting any more specific than that because we are not about calling people out for bad behavior on this stream. We are just going to elevate people who do good things. That being said, we will have our beef patties here in a minute, and then we'll get those sausage patties off of the stove so we can trade them out for these, and I'll show you guys what we're going to do with our mushrooms and onions for this. So yeah, small, lovely hoagie patties. Let me go put this in the garbage and I'll be right back. And we start washing our cutting board so it's nice and clean. Never, ever, ever cross-contaminate your foods, especially if your foods are meats. And especially if one of them is like chicken or pork or something that has salmonella or trichinosis or something like that. I'm going to move these patties over here so that I can clean this up real quick. Always keep your work area clean, neat, and free of trimmings, free of contamination, and free of anything that you wouldn't want to put your tongue down on there and lick. Because if you're not comfortable leaning down and licking your countertop, then why would you be comfortable putting food you're about to eat on it? That Let's check this sausage here real quick. Whoa, all right, that's looking good. I think one more flip and we'll be done with this and we can get it out of our way. Oh, aren't those looking pretty? Now while we wait on that, let's talk about what we're going to do with these hoagies, and that's where the rest of our onion comes in. Here we go. We're going to chop up our onion. Get some nice, good little thin rings. And I'm trying to show you guys what I'm doing without going too fast for you guys to see, and also without me cutting my fingers off, because I'm trying to get it done quickly in a way in which I can illustrate to someone else what I'm doing. And again, I like small pieces. There we go. Little pieces. We're going to throw those to the side for a second because they're going to go in with our mushrooms and our beef hoagies. So be right back because I want to show you guys some delicious mushrooms, which will also need to be cut up because I'm an idiot and I thought I had gotten pre-sliced ones and I didn't. So new cutting board. We're about to slice us up some mushrooms. Got a plate for them. Yes, I hear you. Throw away the bottoms with like the cow poop on them. These have already been pre-washed. They say so on the package, but still. It's going to be probably a good idea to wash them again. I'm not going to because I'm going to live dangerously. And if you don't want this mushroom on its side, and let me show you a neat little trick here. Divide the mushroom in half and it will sit flat. And then it doesn't roll around when you go to cut it into little slices. The only thing is the slices are like half slices instead of full slices, but no one cares. We're going to stew them down anyway in a sauce, and they're going to be delightful. That's actually probably enough, but I'm going to do one more just to be on the safe side and show you what I mean. Half, slice, slice, and you're done. Okay, mushrooms, wonderful. No, they'll cook down. I want one more. I love mushrooms, and I'd rather have too many than not enough. See? Wonderful, wonderful mushrooms. So let me go get this sausage out here real quick, and I'll show you what we do with it. Well, I mean, besides eating it. All right, you got your plate here with your towel paper on it. And really, we only need one piece of towel paper. So, just set your sausage right on there and let that paper absorb that grease for you. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Beautiful sausage. And we will be getting that ready to go in a minute. Though for right now, what I need to be worried about is washing this pan. Now, that's a little too much sausage grease to stick down the sink. So we're going to stick it in a bowl here. Preferably a microwave safe bowl that's thick enough and isn't going to shatter when we pour it in there. And now, we're going to rinse out this pan real quick and get it going for our next project, which is going to be the beef hoagies with mushrooms. Again, if you clean out your pan while it's hot, you have like no work to do. You clean it, you rinse it, you make sure it's nice and sterile. And look, I mean, I'm serious. I know that they call pans no stick, but if you leave things in them all night, they're terrible. Clean as a whistle. Look at that. Easy. All right. Butter for our mushrooms and our onions. There we go. They're going to want more than that. There you go. Mushrooms. I've gotten water on the burner. And onions. We're going to start cooking these down in a second here. And we also are going to want to start cooking the beef separately just to get it going. Our sausage patties are ready. I'm going to set them aside. We're going to assemble the muffins in a minute. But for right now, we can put those to one side and concentrate on getting our beef going right after I look at the quiche, because the quiche bears a bit of a looking at here. So, let me move that out of the way. We want to make sure it doesn't burn. Now, I don't advocate pulling a quiche in and out of the oven all the time because it will fall if you're not careful. Be very delicate. Set it down, do not jar it, and look at it. Well, I've wrapped it up good, which you're supposed to do, but it's working against me here. Okay, yeah, that's nowhere near done, which is good news for me. The top is still liquidy and runny. Ooh, and it smells like egg. It's wonderful. So we're going to stick this back in the oven and give it another 10 minutes. I suspected that it probably was not done as low as I've got it on, but I would rather be safe than sorry. Incidentally, we are going to need more butter for these onions and mushrooms because mushrooms just absorb butter. Now, in order to make the sauce for this, we are going to also put in beef bouillon and some Marmite, and I'll explain that in a minute. But while I do, I want to move this onion and mushroom mixture off to the second burner, and we're going to start doing our beef here real quick. So, a little salt in the pan. Stick those right there. Yeah, I did these in the wrong pans. I should have done the beef in the bigger pan and these in the littler pan. But we all make mistakes, and you compensate for them. And so we're just going to plunk this right in the middle there. There we go. Let that go for a minute. Oh! I do want to put some onion powder on those. I know that there's onion in the beef and mushroom sauce that we're making, but nothing beats some good onion salt on a burger. Come on, a little more. There we go. All right, so make sure those guys start sticking. Turn that down a little bit. Okay, while that goes, I'm going to explain Marmite. Marmite is a brewer's yeast paste. You've probably heard of Vegemite, which is the same thing, more or less. Australians, please don't kill me. They're close enough. Marmite is made in England, I think, instead of Australia, and we get it here for like 1/10 of the price, so I go with Marmite. It is a brewer's yeast paste, and I use it to richen up sauces that are supposed to taste like beef, but at the same time, you don't want to have a heart attack. So, like, if you want a mushroom sauce to taste like a beef and mushroom sauce, but you're serving it to, like, vegetarians or something, this will replace beef bouillon in sauces like that, and it will taste similar without having actual meat in the sauce. Now, of course, you see what we're cooking right there, so that ship kind of sailed. But it's okay, because this still adds a lot to the flavor. We're also going to get some powdered beef broth because it's easy to work with, and yeah, that's about it. We don't really need to do too much just yet, other than get prepping for our next project. Now, I'm also going to do some lamb sliders. So, what did I say about vegetarians? I'm sorry. Tonight's stream is meat heavy right up front, but after this we'll assemble it and kind of get more non-meat products going into things. But for now, we're going to make a couple of lamb patties, which are very good. And I'm not really going to highlight too much the process for making them because it's the exact same as what we've been doing already with the other meats. We have the meats. So, let me check chat real quick and see what's up. Not too much. You guys are lurking, but that's wonderful. I like it when you lurk. It's good stuff. Okay, just make patties out of meat. You guys know the drill by now, so I'm going to hurry up and get it done without showing you. Well, I mean, I could turn you around so you could see, but my hands are covered with it by now, so just bear with me a second and keep an eye on my hoagies for me, would you? Thanks. We've got to make these small enough to where they can go on the patties. I hear those sizzling, so I need to go over and do something about them. That being said, I have got my hands full at the moment, and that's a problem that you find in the kitchen when you're doing like a whole bunch of things at once. You need to be in 2 and 3 places at once. I recommend lots of coffee. All right. Just make a turn. Uh-oh. Well, that's not supposed to happen. Turn them before we burn them. Now the mushrooms and onions are about cooked down, as you can see. So we are going to add a little water to that, just so we can start on making the sauce. And so that they don't burn. What I'm also going to do is swap out one of these burgers for the other one, and it's going to be this little one here, and I'll tell you why. This one's cooked a lot hotter and faster, and it's more done, and it has less grease in it. This one still has some cooking to go, and its grease hasn't all bled out of it yet, and you don't want a lot of grease in your sauce. And since this one has less of it, we're just going to let it sit there and flavor things up while these kind of get rid of their excess. Now, back to making lamb patties. Here. Yeah, lamb patties. Nothing really special, just lamb patties. Also, we got 3 minutes left before I have to look at the quiche. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 seems about right. Be right back. Lamb is good with onion and coriander, so that's how we're going to spice it up. Bear in mind that all of these will have a slab of white cheddar cheese and some egg on top on a muffin. So I've dropped my towel into the sink. That towel goes away. We get a new towel. There we go. Now, salt. Coriander. Well, I'm being kind of careful. There we go. Yep. Salt, coriander, celery salt, because that always is good. And where's our onion powder? There we go. Now, I'm gonna go check the chat real quick, and then my hamburger's over here. So give me a second, and we'll be right back. Yeah, very nice. Let me go drain a little of the grease off this thing. Now, before we stick this over an open fire, we should probably wipe off the side. There we go. And the good news is if there is a grease fire, it'll be over soon. Okie dokie. Trade sides, because you guys are going to want to see this. Turn that down real low. Turn this up a bit. Okay, so you can see we've got some delicious mushrooms and onions. But we need to make it a sauce. So the next thing we're going to need is some butter and some water. So let me get the butter, which I've got over. Oh, and it's time to check our quiche. Butter. Water. Look at that. It's already starting to deglaze the pan and turn brown. That's wonderful. But there's more to do. So let's give that a second while we check our quiche. Yeah. That's actually almost done. So, real quick, a little bit of bouillon powder. Not even a teaspoon, just a little bit. Here's the tricky part, because this stuff is like glue. Get your Marmite, get a knife. Not a spoon, not a fork, not anything that it can grab onto or stick to. You want a knife. Because it just goes everywhere and then it sticks. And you'll notice it ain't going to come off your knife. You essentially have to wipe it onto something. So get you some mushrooms, wipe your Marmite off your knife. It's on my thumb. That means that I'm going to have it on me forever. You think maple syrup is bad? No. Try Marmite. Okay, Marmite in the sauce. There you go. Let it melt down for a bit. Stir it around, and then we'll kind of richen that sauce up. Ooh, starting to smell good. Marmite tastes wonderful, though. You guys ever remember the song by Men at Work, Land Down Under, when he talks about he just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich? It's more or less this stuff. It's like a peanut butter sandwich, but with brewer's yeast paste. that tastes kind of like a thick soy sauce, but not really. That's about the best way I can describe it. Go eat some, don't like, or, you know, you'll have a bad time. But, you know, use it in cooking. It's good stuff. So we're going to stir this around a bit. I am going to add a little starch. In this case, flour, because it's what I've got, to our sauce here. And thicken it up a bit after we get the burgers in it. So, there we go. Now this is going real good. We're going to stick our hamburgers in it. Grease-free, I might add. Oh, that's a cute little one. It's a little baby burger. And that one's all mutated and malformed, and I don't know why, but okay. There. Now let those little bad boys simmer in their own sauce for a minute. Turn them down really, really low. And cover them to simmer. And soak up all that goodness. We'll add a little water and a little butter in a minute. But first, once again, drain our pan, wash our pan, and then we'll check our quiche, because it's probably ready to come out. Again, this works great, just don't burn your hand. Yeah. It's a thing of beauty. There we go. Okay. I'll admit, this is more meat than I ever cook up all at once. This is going to be meals for me for the next few weeks. I'll stick them in the freezer, but you know, doing it all at once like this is a lot of fun. But wow, I'm not even starting to get done with the meats. So let's check this quiche real quick. Oh yeah, oven mitts. Smells like quiche. All right, now that could use a few extra minutes, but let me show you this real quick here. Whee! Doesn't that look wonderful? Actually, I don't think it could use a few more minutes. I think it's actually completely done. So I'm going to leave it out. Although, I need somewhere to put it. Shoot. Let me get a hot plate or something. Yeah, here we go. Don't want it burning the table at all. You know what? Give me a second. Ugh. Sorry. I can name about 6 different ways where this is likely to come back and bite me in the ass, but yeah, that's real slick. We'll leave that there till it cools down. Our quiche is done, and I'll show it to you in a minute. We're going to check on our stuff here. All right. Now, I didn't quite get all the grease out of the sauce. You can kind of see it there, but a little doesn't really hurt anything. It just is non-optimal. So what I'll do is we'll roll this around. And, excuse me, hair in my face. A little bit of flour, not much, just a pinch. Still enough to get it all down the front of me. water to kind of help the flour soak in. And what that'll do is that will thicken up the sauce a little bit so that when you warm it up again in the microwave, it will stay kind of a gelatinous sauce and not turn into water and soak into your bun and be disgusting in general. You can see, look, it's starting to kind of turn into a gravy on the side right there because the flour is thickening it up. That being said, all I got to do is set these aside. Oh man, that's good. Yum. So we're gonna stick these on a plate and get them ready to, and we can't do towel paper with this one or it'll absorb all our sauce. But we're gonna stick these on a plate and get them ready to make into hoagies in a minute. Looky there, guys. Isn't that beautiful? Let me bring them over here so you can see them on the good camera. Look at that. And it's getting a little warm. So let me put that down, get the rest of my mushrooms out of here, and then we're going to cook up our lamb. There. And the lamb, let me get some butter. The lamb, because we're essentially making the exact same thing we just did, can go right on there. Yeah. I could carry the whole thing over if I wasn't being stupid. Okay, turn that up, wash our hands. And after this, there is only one more combination of meat that we need to make for this little project. And this is the one where I'm probably going to lose a couple of you. But our final sliders for the evening are going to be haggis and black pudding. If you don't know what black pudding is, it is a kind of Irish English sausage made of beef, and it's got onions and all kinds of things, but the reason it's black pudding is it's also got beef's blood in it, which gives it the distinctive color, but you know, I don't think there's like, well, there's more blood than water in it, per the ingredient list. But I mean, it's not, I mean, you just don't think about it. It's delicious, don't think about it. It's wonderful. And paired with that, we have haggis. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to read it because I don't know if this is pre-cooked or not. Heating and serving. Our haggis is fully cooked and needs only heating. That is wonderful. You know why? Because we ain't going to heat it. We're just going to make it into patties and stick it on the buns. So I can open that in a minute. But as I don't usually work with a lot of black pudding, I think that we're probably going to need to cook this. So yeah, keep raw meat and poultry separate. So the black pudding needs to be cooked. The haggis we can just crack right into. Although I probably will heat up a little bit of it for me later because it's so good. I know what I'm going to do with the haggis. I'm going to use half of the haggis to do what I was going to do with the beef and do open-faced sandwiches with sour cream. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Okay. I love it when a plan comes together, don't you guys? So let us crack into our black pudding. Now, let me remind you guys, if you haven't been here for the whole thing, it isn't just all meat. We've got like stacks and stacks of bread and cheese and things like that, and we need to make eggs because these are going to be like breakfast sandwiches, sausage, egg, and cheese, hoagies, things like that. So we got a little more to do. I told you it was going to be a big stream tonight. But this is great because I won't have to cook lunches for another 3 weeks. Dinners will be, don't worry, I'll be back before then. I'm going to make some nice dinners. But for lunches and things like that, I'm going to be set for a long time. So our lamb looks good for right now. Let's cover it because it's greasing up my stove. I'm going to set this over on the table because we need somewhere to put it. The black pudding. Black pudding. Where did I cut it? Right there. I will make a confession to you guys. I have never personally cooked black pudding before. I have had it prepared. I like it. I've had it prepared several different ways. And tonight we have Winston's Irish black pudding, which I picked up at Jungle Jim's. But again, I've never personally prepared it, although I've seen it prepared and I've had it prepared, and it can't be that difficult. All right, it comes out as a nice little sausage in a casing. Let me turn it. It smells so good. You can smell the spices. Although I don't recommend putting raw meat in your face too much. All right, let's keep an eye on our lamb just in case. It seems to be doing fine. Now, as I understand, the way to prepare this is going to be to, I'll nip off the ends here, but I think, does it compress? Yeah, we can make it into patties. So we're going to make little thin patties out of it, because it's going to go on a sandwich. There we go. It kind of has the texture of Play-Doh, and it smells a lot like Braunschweiger. Now, I don't know if you guys like Braunschweiger. I grew up calling it liver cheese, and some people call it liver pate. It is heaven. If you get a little Braunschweiger and a little mustard and make a sandwich out of it, ooh, yummy. We'll have to do that real soon. Yeah, let's get some black pudding patties going here, and then we'll cook these up in a minute. And then we'll get the haggis to go with them. And then I'll make sliders that we can heat up. And then I'll probably, like I said, make one that I just sit here and eat myself, because I'm looking forward to it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do a 6th, and then a 7th for me later, and then I'll just put the rest of it. I could just cook it all up, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. It doesn't really patty easily. But again, it smells wonderful. I think they've used clove or something as the... yeah, they've used cloves in this to spice it, and it smells just absolutely wonderful. Let me wash my hands real quick. And we'll check on our lamb. Which could stand some checking on, and a little squishing down because it's getting a little too ambitious. There we go. I will warn against doing what I'm doing, which is going over a hot pan full of grease with water on your hands, because the minute that it drips down into that pan, it starts spitting up and sizzling everywhere. And you don't want that because it can burn you. So in this case, it's a do as I say, not as I do sort of thing. Lamb smells good. Alright, we cover that up and let it go for a minute. I finished washing and drying my hands. What I'll probably do is set that aside a minute so that we can play with the black pudding here. I'll also open the haggis and maybe start warming it a little bit. Okay. There we go. Put the lamb down on low. Alright, black pudding. It seems awfully dry. like I said, I have never personally prepared it before, so we're going to put a little butter in just to make sure that it doesn't do anything we don't want it to do, all right? And I'm probably also going to like crisp the haggis patties on either side just to kind of get a little crunch on them. But that said, 5 things at a time, right, guys? You know, here's the thing. I had planned this whole thing, and I really didn't realize that it was Lent. And I should, well, probably be eating fish today. I was raised Catholic, although, you know, and everyone makes the joke, I got better. But, you know, it's one of those things, even today, I like to eat fish on Fridays during Lent, not because I'm especially devout or religious or anything like that. It's just become such a habit over the past years that it feels weird not to. But we're going to try and get over that tonight because I've got a pile of meat this high. Although fish sounds wonderful. Yeah, and the sausage. The sausage is great. It's called black pudding. Try it because it's beautiful. Just not on Lent if you're a practicing Catholic. That said, I am not. So we have an black pudding. There's room for 4, so that's what we're gonna do. Alrighty. Yeah, you know, fish on Fridays is always a fun thing. I love fish. I love seafood. Matter of fact, I got some crab cakes in the freezer that I picked up today that I didn't make myself, but they were on sale and I couldn't resist them, and there was a big bag of raw shrimp next to them, and I thought, ooh, I can put that in the quiche, and I'm like, yeah, no, too much all at once. So tonight we've got a spinach and tomato quiche. But someday real soon we're going to do a great big seafood extravaganza, especially if I can get my little paws on some crayfish, or as we called them growing up, crawdads, because they're tasty. They used to sell them at Kroger pre-shelled, just a bag of the meat, and it was absolutely wonderful. And then there wasn't enough interest, so they stopped doing it, and I was unhappy because, there we go, that looks about right, except it's sticking and I need some butter for it. And so yeah, let me get some butter for this. Where was I? Crawfish, crawdads. They are wonderful, aren't they? And as soon as I can get my hands on some, we're going to do some great stuff with them. We'll do pasta with them. Pasta's wonderful with them. Be right back. Okay, that was nothing important, but I have a family member who I asked to text me if the stream crashes, because last time I tried streaming, it was a disaster. We had some network issues. Glad to see they're solved tonight. Knock on Formica. So, these little bad boys just eat butter, don't they? We'll just try and keep them going. I want to make sure that they're cooked all the way through, but I think it'll be fine. And I have several more patties here to make. After this, we're gonna, you know what, while we wait on that, why don't we crack open the haggis? What did I do with my haggis? Here we go. Premium quality haggis with lamb. Cool. They also make a beef haggis and a vegetarian haggis, and I don't know how that works. And, you know, I try to keep an open mind about things like that, because it's so easy to say, vegetarian haggis, that's not really bad, But really, I mean, if it tastes similar and is a good thing to eat, yeah, it might not be the same thing. It might not be the original thing. But you know what? Sometimes that stuff's good. And I will give it a whirl, and if I like it, I will keep eating it, especially, if you're trying to stay healthy and you don't want to eat as much meat, especially fatty meats like organ meats. Hey, it's always worth a try, and as soon as I do, I'll tell you guys how it is. Now, anyone with headphones, cover your ears, because the can opener is right behind the laptop, so I'm going to reach over you here. And we have, haggis. It's wonderful. I love haggis. I absolutely love haggis. Let me check on this black pudding real quick. Flip it over. There we go. That looks really good. These are about done. And so I'll swap them out for the next set of patties in a second here. Let's check on our lamb real fast, though, while we're at it. And if you guys have any questions about cooking or anything, or about what I'm doing, or just want to make comments in general, put them over there. I'm always happy to answer questions, even if they're not necessarily about what I'm cooking right now. We're going to leave those uncovered because there's a lot of water in that lamb and I want it to cook off. Although the lamb's almost done. And I think this black pudding's done. What do you guys think? That looks great, doesn't it? I need a plate to stick it on so that I can get more black pudding. Sticking a little bit. So this time we'll put a little more butter. Uh-oh. Wooden spoon in the fire. Bugger me. Alright. We're going to use a little more butter this time because we needed to add so much last time. And plus we got a really big patty here. That's for me in a minute. Alright, there we go. Just kind of reshape that patty. And let those go a minute. Now, the haggis probably does need to be heated because it, like all meat products, has fat in it that's kind of rides to the top as you let it sit. So let me wrap up the rest of my black pudding and put it back in the freezer to cook for later. And then we'll make some patties out of this haggis, and then we'll cook it. The trick's going to be keeping all these patties straight. Luckily, I used to work in a restaurant, although it's been, well, we're not going to discuss how long ago that it has been, but the year started with 1990 something, so that said, haggis. Stick it in a bowl. Get a knife to stick it in the bowl. And I'm going to check the chat real quick. Yes, veggie meatballs are wonderful, and thank you. That's actually good to know about the can opener. I was kind of worried that I was blowing people's eardrums out with it. Oh, look at that. That is haggis and a half right there. Mmm. And again, if any of you are from Scotland, yes, I realize this isn't quote-unquote real haggis because it doesn't have any lung meat in it. And to you I say, I can't get lung meat. What do you want me to do? Go kill a sheep? Right. Of course I can pull out my terrible Scottish accent, and of course we went to Glasgow and we saw a wee hairy Highland coo, and it was wonderful, and we ate haggis, and it was beautiful. Right? Right. There we go. Okay, haggis patties. Same as the other patties, really. I mean, you know what I'll probably do is I'll just carry this bowl over and make the patties as I'm putting them in the pan. And I'll probably make them in the bigger pan that I'm doing the lamb patties in right now, because I'm going to have a lot of haggis patties. Not all of them are going on the sandwich. Some of them are going to be for my dinner tonight. Yum. So I don't want to do them like 3 and 4 at a time like I'm doing that. So we'll wait till the lamb is done, which it probably almost is. So let's check on those. Yeah, those look good. Those look great, actually. So let's start getting those put somewhere so that we can start working with them. The lamb, much like the sausage, gets towel paper, paper towel, whatever you want to call it. We stick the patties on there and it drains the excess grease off of them, of which there is quite a bit. The funny thing is, as gentle as the smell is on this lamb, I don't think a lot of this is grease. I think a lot of this is water in which they packed it. There we go, lamb patties. They look like hamburger patties, look like sausage patties, look like every patties. Everything's kind of starting to look alike, which is okay, because it's supposed to. The black pudding's done. So if you guys will give me a second, I'm going to wash both of these pans real quick. The cloves on that black pudding. They smell really, really good. All right. We can retire this one for a minute and stick it back up on the shelf. See how easy that is? You don't need to let it soak. You don't need to scrape. It's wonderful. Let's see what you guys are up to. I neither came from nor do I live in Scotland. My great-grandparents were from County Cork and from Limerick, Ireland. I was born in the United States. I just visited Scotland for a little bit and Ireland on separate occasions. But in addition to all this, I do voiceovers for video games and things like that. So whereas the Scottish accent I just whipped off was absolutely terrible, with about 10 minutes worth of practice, I can get it to where I can believably do a character in a commercial. And no one from there is going to probably call me out on it. But I'm never going to pass as a native. Ever. 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 That said, let's get the grease out of this pan. And again with the washing. And make sure your sponge has plenty of soap in it. You don't just want the pan like free of debris. You want it clean and sanitary. Matter of fact, funny story about my name. Our ancestor from County Cork was named Mary Margaret Duffy. Had I been a girl, I would have been named Mary Margaret. I was getting named after her one way or the other. Okay, final round of the meats. Haggis. So, the haggis probably has enough grease in it to where we don't need to grease the pan. Although butter always tastes good with haggis. But let's set this black pudding over here. Actually, over here. We're going to get to make all these sliders and sandwiches here in just a minute. One last round of the meats. So... there we go. The haggis and black pudding are going on little Hawaiian rolls, little sweet rolls, because that's how I had it when I was visiting Glasgow. And I should probably say when I was visiting Glasgow instead of like when I was in Glasgow, because that leaves room for interpretation. And no, I have never lived in Scotland. If I had to live anywhere in the UK, it would be Ireland. Not because I don't like the other two places as well, or three places if you include Wales and all that, but I've never been to Wales, so I can't judge it. But out of Scotland, Ireland, and England, Ireland's got the best Wi-Fi everywhere. As a matter of fact, there is a funny story about a voiceover job that I had to do when I was in Scotland. I left, and I was going to get like a little form factor adapter for my laptop, because laptops are wonderful these days. They'll take either American voltages or European voltages. Whoa, that's going to spit. And they don't think too much about it. They'll auto switch, which is not bad, so all you need is a form factor adapter. You don't need a voltage adapter. Well, I got to looking at the ones that, well, let me say first that I thought that I was going to, oh, that's going to fall apart, isn't it? That's okay. Ooh, hot. There we go. All right, heat and eat haggis. So, I thought I had one. I didn't. And I found that out the morning we were leaving. So, we get to the airport and I get to looking at them and they're like $28. And I'm like, screw that. I bought mine for $6. I'll just go to a bookstore when I get there and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah. So fast forward to we're sitting there in Glasgow. We've been awake for like 36 hours between, you know, airplane weirdness, flying, traveling, trying to get where we are. We're finally at the hotel. It's 6 hours ahead, so like we get there at 1 in the morning our time, which is like 7 a.m. their time. Hey, you've been awake all day. It's midnight. Time to wake up. So we're getting settled in. Things have finally opened up. We putter around and we eat some breakfast. We're waiting for the hotel to let us check in at like 11 o'clock their time. So finally it rolls around and we get there and we're settling into the hotel room and I get a call from a client. They're like, we need a pickup line for a thing you've done right now. So I had to set up a sound booth in the hotel room to get these extra lines done. And not only that, I do not have a form factor adapter, so I have to run out to a bookstore and find one, and they're not $6. They're like 30 pounds, which is about, at the time, it was about $50. And I paid it, because I needed to. And I got the voiceover done, and I came back and got it all sent off. I was exhausted, I was tired, I was wiped out. I felt good about the whole thing, and I got to send it off. There was spotty Wi-Fi in the hotel. I couldn't make Skype calls easily. I couldn't get the file sent. It was like a 6 megabyte file. It took me almost an hour to get it sent and make sure that it was sent. And then I sent it, and then I realized there was an error in it, and I had to send another copy of it. So, like a big, long ordeal, all because I didn't buy a $6 piece. And the Wi-Fi in everywhere but Ireland is spotty. It's not good in England. It's not good in Scotland. Your mileage may vary. I wasn't everywhere. It's just where I happen to be. But, you know, going around and trying to get connected to coffee shops and things like that, it's not as easy there as it was other places I've been. That said, it's a gorgeous place, and it's a wonderful place. And if you're in Glasgow, go eat at Druthy's Pub, because they're wonderful there. They're amazing people and lots of fun. 2 days later, I was in a bookstore, and I did see a form factor adapter, and it was £6. I could have cried. I paid $50 for one, but that's my story. Now it's time to make sliders, guys. So here is what we're going to do. I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way, and then we're going to, well, make sliders. Now, first things first, I think we're going to do the sausage ones, because they've been cooling long enough. So, wait, we can't make the sliders. We got to make the eggs before we make the sliders, because breakfast sliders need eggs, so we're not going to do those first. We're going to do the hoagies first. So, hoagies first, because we can get them out of the way and make some room. So now we want hoagie buns. Hoagie buns. Oh. There is an important thing to do to hoagie buns. You gotta make toasty hoagie buns. So, someone's calling me. Let me check, make sure it's not an emergency. Be right back. No, it's a client of some sort calling me at 7:30 on a Friday. So, hoagies. First things first, these buns are pre-split, which makes my life easy. Except they don't tear apart very easy because they're sweet, so they tend to get glommy. You want to separate them and stick them in piles, in pairs, so that you have a top and a bottom. Obviously, because if you have to search for what's what, it kind of gets to be a pain. We're going to start with 3 of them. And move our extra haggis out of the way. All right. You want to put a little thin, long pat of butter on each of these. And I will do that while the pan heats up. Because what you want is a good hot pan for this. And I'll show you what we're going to do here as I finish. For these hoagies, you want those restaurant-style toasty buns that have the nice crispy edges. And it kind of helps them live in the freezer a little better, too. But in order to do that, what you do is you sear them in a pan to toast them, and it sears the butter on, and makes them just so nice. So, all right. Now, the way to tell if your pan is hot enough, and I guarantee you it's not yet, is you get a little dot of water on your finger, and you flick it at the pan, and yeah, it just kind of dries up. It's nowhere near hot enough yet. So we'll give it a minute, and then we'll toast up our buns. In fact, what I'll probably do while we wait for that is I'll get the rest of this bread buttered, because we need to do it anyway. So what are you guys up to this evening? Are you doing anything fun other than sitting here and watching me? Because if you're anything like me, you multitask. And while you're listening to a long-haired cook ramble, you're probably doing other things as well. So whatever you're doing, if you want to share, that's always fun. And we can chit-chat about what it is you're doing. And if I have a fun, happy, or appalling story about it, I will share too. Tilapia. I love tilapia. Black pudding tastes kind of like black pudding. It's kind of like an oatmeal sausage kind of thing, but if you've ever had liver or liver cheese, it doesn't taste a lot like it, but it just kind of has a hint of that real, rich organ meat kind of taste to it without being like chock full of it. It's kind of like oat sausage, but it is a beef sausage, at least it is in this case. So it's really, really tasty. And of course I picked the country based on the Wi-Fi. I own an IT company and I own a voice studio that depends on the internet because I'm not in LA or New York. So I need the internet for my ISDN services and, everything but phone patch, which everywhere has telephone. But yeah, I pick a country based on availability of Wi-Fi. That said, let's see if this pan's hot enough yet. Oh yeah, see that? We've got the Lederhosen effect going on there. I know it's the Leidenfrost effect, but it's always fun to call it the Lederhosen effect. Spreche der Deutsch nicht sehr gut. But you gotta bake it for health reasons. Well, the last time I made tilapia, I made it on stream, and I did salt and butter, and I did kind of a sweet and savory grapefruit sauce on it. So butter, grapefruit, wine, parsley, chervil, paprika, and onion powder. Oh, I left that in there too long. Get those out. Eek. Let's dial that down a bit. It's getting too hot. Those will still be good. Carcinogenically delicious. I was trying to do it to the tune of magically delicious, but there we go. That's what it should look like. See, it only takes a second on there to make a toasty bun. Also, you'll notice I'm reaching in and just picking them up. You can do that if you're pretty confident about what you're doing, and if you're not, don't. See, a couple seconds is all it takes on a nice hot pan. But it's time to cool this thing down. That got warm. On the bright side, it's only a little butter residue in there, so I don't need to really get the soap and the sponge involved because I'm about to do it again. So we'll just leave that there. I'm about to do it again right now. I forgot one of the buns. Pay attention to what you're doing, kids. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have to do that right now. I don't have that many hoagies. So we'll stick this over here for in a minute. We have got hoagie buns. Let's make us some hoagies. All right. So, get you some Ziploc bags, which I might not have enough of. Get you a plate. And let's turn you guys so you can see what I'm doing. Although, really, it's not rocket science. you get you a lower part of a bun and an upper part of a bun. A couple of them. Yeah. I promise I'm not having a stroke. At least I don't think I am. Go get you some cheese. Everyone loves cheese, right? Right. You love cheese, I love cheese. And all things dairy, really. Cheese, butter, cream, milk. If you are what you eat, I am surprised I have not sprouted an udder. That said, hoagies. You put your hoagie on your bread. Oh yeah, there we go. And we get a spoon. And we put our mushroom glop right on there. Now, the one flaw that I'm finding in making all of this stuff at once is usually when I make this, these patties are good and hot, and they melt that cheese almost immediately, keeping these things from kind of sliding around. Well, it ain't a-doing that tonight, which is okay, but it's probably going to make them a little more difficult to bag up, which I think we'll be able to overcome. All right. Now, let me turn you guys so you can see this. You put the tops on. Give them a little squish to kind of keep them together. Then you get your Ziploc bag. And I know I've explained this before, but we're going to go over it again. Once you put it in the Ziploc bag, give it a little squeeze. Seal it most of the way up, then push all the air out of it, and then seal it, and they kind of vacuum pack so that they're ready to go. Now, I'm not sure how many Ziploc bags I have left, because I didn't check before I started this gigantic stream. So what I might do is package 2 of these together. And then get them out one. No, they won't fit. So let's hope I've got enough Ziploc bags, and failing that, we'll start doing something creative with saran wrap. I think we'll be all right, though, one way or the other. Okie dokie. Push all the air out. These are the ones that got a little crispy. They will be delicious too, though, so don't worry. Now, again, more cheese. How could you forget the cheese? Hoagie patties. Mushroom glop. It'd probably be a lot more appetizing as opposed to referring to it as mushroom glop if we said a mushroom sauce. But I mean, it is what it is regardless. A rose by any other name, huh? And the best part is, if there's a little too much of it to go on the patties, you just eat it. Thank you very much. Yeah, the hoagies, well, I'm glad that they look good, and I will tell you a little secret. They are good. And I'm not just tooting my own horn there. They are not half bad at all. Although, again, it looks like I probably am going to run out of Ziploc bags. I think I've got some big ones, and they're going to look ridiculous. And what I'll probably do is pack several sliders or sandwiches into one of the bigger ones, and we'll let it go at that. But had I planned a little better for this evening, well, actually, if I'd planned a little better for this evening, I really would have been up a creek, because I wouldn't have thought about Ziploc bags. And I would have also had enough hamburger to do those open-faced sandwiches. So that really would have been a problem, because I would have had to leave you guys hanging, run down to the corner, buy some more, and run back. Although, that wouldn't have been the end of the world, because I would have only had to leave you hanging for like 5 minutes. But you know, do kind of a we're taking a break kind of thing. But since I don't like doing that, we don't have to. Now we're going to eat, yum, our mushroom stuff. So let me rinse this. Swap that out. There we go. Now, those are made. Let me stick those in the fridge. And those are the ones that do not require egg. The remaining ones do. So let's put these in the freezer. Sorry. And then we'll whip up the egg for the breakfast sandwiches. Although, I guess I could probably see how many baggies I do have, and we can adjust our plan accordingly for how we proceed here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. We're going to be cutting it close. But that's all right. We will persevere. Now, gonna make eggs for the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits. So, I don't want to use this pan. I want to use this pan because it's non-stick and eggs will be easier to deal with. I think about 5 eggs per set of sliders. So you guys remember this drill, don't you? And since we're going to hurry this along, I'm not going to do the whole 2 bowls thing. Actually, yes, I am, because I need somewhere to put the shells and show you what I'm doing. And check the chat while I'm at it. Oh, the quiche is not still in the oven. The quiche is, in fact, out, and I will show it to you in a minute here. But I can't just yet because I'm working on these eggs, which are a little over full right now. There we go. Alright, I'm going to whisk that on the way over to the stove here real quick. Let's start the thing going here. That'll get warm, our butter will melt, and then we'll have eggs. That's wonderful. Yeah, I'll show you the quiche in just a second here. Let me dry my hands. All right. Should be cool enough to much, yeah. There's your quiche right there. Doesn't that look good? And if you'll notice, the bottom of it, you can see where it's baked up real nice. It's not like too dark, it's just a nice golden brown around the edges, and it'll be nice. Now, uh-oh, that's a little too hot. Let's whisk these eggs. I got this bowl a little too full, but it's going to be fine. All right. Rinse that out. And let's be sure, excuse me, let's be sure we get a plate over here to get these eggs off in a timely fashion. Also, I chose a deep dish, or a deep-sided pan, which I wouldn't have done if my haggis hadn't been sitting in the other one right now. But the fact of the matter is, it's the wrong shaped pan for eggs, so I'm going to get a second spatula ready so that when invariably this starts to go wrong, I'll have a tool to help me deal with that. Okie dokie, that'll be our secondary spatula. This nice flexible one will be our primary. And we're starting to get sticking. A little butter will solve that. What we're essentially trying to do is make a nice little sheet of scrambled egg that we can divide up and they call me Butterfingers, literally. We're going to make a nice little sheet of scrambled egg that we can divvy up into about 6 parts. Actually, I want a stiffer spatula here real quick. There we go. And put on the sandwiches. Now remember, you guys, egg continues to cook after you get it off the stove. So it doesn't have to be 100% solid when you get it off of here. But what I do want is for it to be almost as done as we want it when it's supposed to go on the sandwiches. I also want to keep it away from the edges of the pan because that's where it sticks. That's starting to look about right. So we kind of have a big eggy pancake here. Excellent. That's all we need. Alrighty. We're going to need to do that again in a minute for the lamb ones, but for right now, let's go ahead and get the sausage ones going, and then we'll do these in stages, because also we can get the haggis and black pudding ones done without actually the need for egg. So we'll do the sausage ones, then the haggis ones, and then we will deal with the lamb. Again, I'm a big fan of cleaning as we work, so I know you guys are probably tired of this by now, but it makes my life easier. And I'll also check chat and see what you wonderful fine people are up to while I've been doing this. Here we go. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And of course, if you're in Cincinnati, stop by. I will make you anything you want. Let's see. Hello, Fake Sale Ken. How's it going? I'm sorry if I haven't been attentive to the thing. I've kind of been keeping my eye on all the stove stuff. And I'm about to start assembling more sandwiches, but I want to see what everyone's been talking about in chat real quick first, so let me go and read that. Yes, I think I'm all caught up, but again, clean pan. Life is good when your pans are clean. Now, speaking of clean things, let me move these egg bowls out of the way for a second, because we don't want to contaminate our sandwiches. And to that effect, we are going to spray and wash our area with a fresh piece of towel paper so that we don't get salmonella. Hey, salmonella. I'm sorry, I won't do that again, I promise. Okay. We'll move this plate. We will replace it with this plate. All right. Now, for these, we have got English muffins. All right. I normally get Thomas, but these were on sale, and Aunt Millie makes a fine product, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Except Aunt Millie does not pre-split her muffins. Remind me to have a word with Aunt Millie about that. In the meantime, serrated knife. We will split our muffins manually. Thanks, Aunt Millie. Although I do like the Thomas muffins, but I mean $2 as opposed to $4. I thought I could give these a whirl. And again, everything else I've had from Aunt Millie's been all right, so why not? Okay, that's more than I can handle right now. So we've got 3 of these. The process for this is pretty self-explanatory. You slap some cheese on the muffins. Right, which one goes with which? There we go. Yeah, that's one. That's one. And that's... oh, that's 2 bottoms. Yeah, okay. Slap some cheese on them. I'm trying to get them paired off here. Let me let you guys see this a little better. Egg. I want to make sure you have enough for all 6 of them. And of course, this one's going to be the sloppy one because there's like the little leftovers. Just kind of round all those up and stick it on one by itself. There we go. All right. Now we go get our sausage patties, which there's our lamb. There's our sausage. 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 Okay. The process for bagging these things up is identical to the other ones. You give them a little squish, although not too much, or your egg will start running off the side. Now, there's a trick with these, and I'll show it to you here in a second. If I can find what I did with my Ziploc bags. Okay, I got them out, and I stuck them there. Okay, these are big. They might hold two. Inside out, on your hand. Pick it up, keeping the egg in it. Then just pull it around the biscuit, and it keeps it from going everywhere if they're a little unruly. Squish it down, seal all the air out of it. Let me wipe my hand first. There we go. Nice storage bag. I'll be the judge of that. Let's see if we can try to get two in here. No, a quick eyeball says that we can't. Squish all the air out. Seal it up. Life is good. Where are the rest of them? There you go. And again, bad planning on my part. We will move to the saran wrap in a minute. And see, if you push the air out of it and then seal it up real quick, you can see where it kind of sucks in and vacuum packs these. So, get us another one. Cheese. Get 1/3 of our egg here. And let me get you some sausage here real quick. There we go. 2 more to go after this. Let's get that egg piled on top where it sticks. Alrighty. Let me just go ahead and clear this out. This is actually food grade plastic. I might try and use that to put a couple of them in. Although it's thin enough to where it's probably a bad idea and going to make a mess to boot. So maybe not. Here we go. Egg. And our last one. So this will be it for all of the breakfast biscuits. And then after that, we're going to start on the haggis and black pudding sliders. Okay. Which I might try and find some creative way of storing those. I love eggs. Let me just eat those real quick. You know, they say never trust a skinny chef, but I'm an exception because I move around so much. Let's see. Sausage! There we go. Ta-da. Get that egg on there. Stay. Alright. Now, we're almost done with these sausage biscuits, guys, and then we'll move on to something a little less monotonous. Well, not less monotonous, but it'll at least be a different kind of food to look at. And while we're doing that, I'll check the chat. So, this is our last Ziploc bag. We have a problem, and so we're going to get creative here in a second. So, watch what we do, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to see if it works. And if while watching me, you say, hey, wait a minute, I've got a better idea, don't be shy. Pipe up, because that would be extremely helpful. All right, these go in the freezer. And let me check chat real quick. Sausage patties is not sausage. Well, it is and it isn't. It actually, you know, it's when you cut open the casing, I think, and let it out and make it into patties. But That said, I'm sure you could argue the semantics of that either way. Neither of which I am inclined to do this evening. But if you say that, then for you, I am sure that that is in fact the case. Let's get these in the freezer real quick, and then we're going to figure out what to do about the rest of these things. Okay, so we're in a pickle because we're out of Ziploc bags. So we're going to try cling film. And we're losing our eggs. Now, the downside of cling film is we probably can't microwave these in it. But that's okay, because I tend to take them out of the Ziploc bags anyway. Oh yeah, look at that. That's going to work fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Okay, so that is it for our sausage patties. We're going to eat these eggs. And then rinse off our plate, because we're going to use it to make our haggis and black pudding sliders. So, where'd my towel go? I'm becoming slightly less organized as the evening goes on, but that's okay. So, haggis and black pudding sliders are going on small Hawaiian rolls. Which we have got right here. Now I'm going to make these just exactly how I had them at the pub. Except they had little yeast rolls and not Hawaiian rolls, but I thought Hawaiian rolls would be appropriate because they're tasty. So we got to pry them off here first and get them apart. There we go. We're also going to need to split them in half. But that's okay, because they're going to be wonderful. And these are going to go real fast. Or they will if I can find my knife. I can't keep a knife tonight, y'all. There we go. Cut them gently in half. And here we go. Very nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What did I say I made? 7 patties? And I can make more later, but we'll go ahead and get 7 going for right now. All right, now, black pudding. 2, 3. There's a great big one. That's going to be good. 4. Actually, that one's too big right there. We'll make that into 2. 5. That's a real big one. 6. Actually, yeah. We can get more out of this than I thought. Bear with me, people. There we go. Just a spoonful of haggis helps the black pudding go down. Sang no one ever. But that's okay, because we're going to sing it, and it's going to be great. Let's just fill in the corners there with that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, let's taste this real quick after we get done here and see how it is. Because it smells great. A little more haggis. Yes! Yes, that's wonderful! All right, so just for flavor, little eensy, teensy, tiny pat of butter on each of these. And you guys are kidding yourself if you don't think I'm going to eat one of these right now. But let's wrap up the majority of them real quick. And see what we got. Okay, so to wrap these up, I guess we're just going to fold them closed. Try and keep the haggis from leaking off of it. Squish it real good. Shove it in some plastic wrap. And away we go. Ta-da! We have a haggis and black pudding slider for later. We throw it in the microwave. It'll be wonderful. In the meantime, we will commence to wrapping these. These are superb, you guys. They're wonderful. I am drooling over them. So let's get them wrapped up so I can eat one of them. Because my stomach's growling at me saying, eat one, eat one, eat one, eat one. And I'm gonna. Can't let any of that haggis escape. Actually, I'll probably wrap these up and eat some of the extra. Oh, I screwed that up. There we go. Come on. Come on. There we go. Just squish that. Make it stick together. Let's see what's going on in chat real quick. Yeah, that Hawaiian rolls are sweet rolls that I think they use pineapple juice as the sweetener or something like that. Yeah, my wife would always cut her hand cutting bread like that. That knife is not sharp enough to actually cut my hand, nor am I careless enough to do with it. But yes, I've seen that happen too, and I cringe every time I see someone doing it. That said, I always play to the knife I'm using. In fact, I say that knife is not sharp enough to do it, and really, yeah, see? I mean, I can't cut my hand with that knife. It's not the right kind. But that being said, there is one that I was using earlier that I would never do that with, ever. So, let's see here. This one is not getting wrapped up because in a minute I'm going to start on the eggs for the other one, but this one we have been cooking for a couple of hours now. We deserve a little treat. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Excuse me. Oh, sure. Yes, and I'm noticing that cling film works wonderfully. This is marvelous, by the way. I am going to finish this, and then we're going to start on some eggs real quick. But yeah, this is really good. By the way, you asked about Hawaiian rolls, and let me show you. They're literally called the original King's Hawaiian rolls. They are little sweet yeast rolls that taste wonderful. And apparently, according to the story, they were made in the 1950s in Hilo, Hawaii. Of course, now you can find them at every corner grocery store. But the main thing about them is water, sugar, eggs, potato flour, yeast, whey, blah, 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 blah. I don't see any pineapple in them, but they're little sugary sweet rolls. They're delicious. Try them if you see them, because they make a great kind of a breakfast thing, especially if you make sweet and savory. Ham and mustard, especially if you do like a sweet onion glaze or something, is just absolutely wonderful with them. Pardon me for a moment. Mmm. Yummy. That's good stuff. I'm going to set this aside and we're going to get down to business here real quick. So now we need to make some eggs for the lamb sliders. Because they're the last thing we need to... Oh, we've got more haggis sliders to make. I forgot. I've got more haggis, which means I can make more of these. Yes! Let me do that real quick. Let's get you guys back down here. And, yeah. I apologize for worrying you with that knife, but I'm going to continue to worry you with that knife because we got rolls to slice. And by the way, if you guys do want to know a little tip about knife safety, cut toward your chum, not toward your thumb. For those of you under 30, chum means friend. And we're just going to sliver these up here real quick and get a couple more going. So, let's see here. I think we've got enough left for 3, so... You know, I bet you we could break that and squeak 4 out of this. I'm greedy, aren't I? I want 4 more. Oh, look at that. It's going to work. Put that on this one. There we go. Haggis. Yes. Oopsie. Crud. Well, you got to let some of it go. Especially because we're kind of getting to the end of the batch of fried haggis, and it's getting a little crumbly, which is okay because it's going to be fine on our sandwiches and it still smells wonderful. And I'm going to clean the counter in just a second before we proceed. Actually, let me move this butter out of the way so we don't get any cross-contamination, because cross-contamination is bad, and that's probably already well beyond the rules of it. But luckily, I am not making this up to food service specs, and so I don't have to follow strict health regulations. But I advise that you do when you can, because if you follow good health practices and protocols, you will stay healthy. That's why they call them health practices and protocols. All right. So rolling these bad boys up. I'm trying to get all the haggis off my hands. There we go. How many people have you heard say that this evening? All right. These are going to be really good. There we go. Okie dokie. This part's always the tedious bit, is rolling everything up and getting it done. But it's a nice part of it because, you know, you get to looking at what you've accomplished and say, hey, I get to eat all that in a minute. Let's, because we got plenty of haggis left, we're just going to stuff the last 2 completely with haggis and call it good. So, actually, we've got just enough haggis for 2. This worked out perfect. All right. Little haggis sliders. Okay, that's really good. Now this has just been on the cardboard, so that's fine. Let me check and see what you guys are up to real quick before I wrap these, just so I can interact with you. Norway, huh? That sounds awesome. Yeah, and cold cuts and bread for breakfast is actually nice. Here we kind of do like meats and breads, but you know, you get sausage and pancakes and things like that. But you know, there's a variety. The United States is a big place, and from place to place, people tend to do different things. That said, I call them breakfast biscuits. But I tend not to eat much breakfast at all. I'll do like a little protein bar or a granola thing, or, you know, sometimes I just don't eat at all, or just get a little something just to start the day. And if I do eat breakfast, just a small one, then it'll probably be about 3:30 before I eat again, and then I'll crack stuff like this out of the freezer and throw it in the microwave. And it'll be delicious, and then I eat dinner, but that's not typical. That's just how I do it. Breakfast here is usually sweet things, pancakes, donuts, cereals with little marshmallows in them. I don't have much of a sweet tooth, but the more healthy-minded of us eat different things. I know some people that'll eat like smoked salmon sliced up on bagels and things like that. So you get seafood for breakfast occasionally, but a lot of times it'll be like fruit and cereals and breads and toasts and things like that. Cold cuts are not that usual for breakfast, but we do eat bacon for breakfast, and I'm going to be eating haggis for breakfast tomorrow. Man, that's good. Give me a sec, I gotta throw this away. So that is our little sliders. And since I have this bag that the Hawaiian rolls came in, and since I don't trust these to freezer burn, I will just place them in the bag to add a little extra layer of protection. Although first, I think it bears looking at the entire little beautiful pile of them because they look marvelous. Yeah. Looky there. Looky what we made. There's two more in here. Aren't they beautiful? They look like little White Castle burgers. You guys are, if you're in Norway, you don't know what White Castle is. White Castle makes these tiny little hamburgers about this big. And they also do fish sandwiches and chicken sandwiches. And if you eat about 2 of them, you will be able to fuel a small power plant for the next 2 days. And all the people around you will know that you have eaten White Castle. And I don't know how to describe it other than distinctive. But that being said, look at this. We have a bag full of Haggis sliders. They're wonderful. They're going in the freezer. So let's get those set in there gently. And look at this. Our steak hoagies are already frozen and ready to go. Now, we need one more batch of eggs to take care of the lamb. By the way, you were asking earlier, and I don't know if you were back yet or not or saw it. Someone was asking about the quiche. Let me show you this. Boom. Quiche. I'm going to get it in the fridge in a bit, but I'm going to eat some for dinner, and the bottom is still pretty hot. So, that said, the one thing we have left to do is make some egg for the lamb sliders, and then we'll get those done up. And let's see what was on my list for this evening. Lamb, sausage. I was going to make some asparagus, but roasted in the oven, but I forgot about it. And really, you cut the bottoms off the asparagus, you drizzle it with oil and salt and pepper, and you put it in the oven, and then you pull it out of the oven, and then you're done. So you guys know how to do that. And I might do it anyway in a minute here just to get it going and have something to eat. Now, interestingly enough, speaking of quiche, you can put asparagus, especially the tips, in quiche, and it is really, really good. Really good. By the way, back on the Norway thing for a minute. Do you guys do the smoked herring and the other smoked fish, or am I thinking somewhere nearby you? Because I know they do that in Belgium, and I know they do that like in somewhere in Norway, Sweden, Finland, something like that. But oh man, those preserved fish in the smokehouses, those things are just they're wonderful. Let me know if you don't mind in the comments, because I love those things. Eggs. We need eggs. So, egg bowl, shell bowl. And again, we're going to do this real quick here. Give me a second here. Yeah, I absolutely adore the smoked fish because it is tasty. I tell you, my favorite fish to eat, if it's going to be grilled or smoked or in sushi especially, I love me some mackerel. Mackerel is wonderful. And I'm wondering, in Norway, not that it tastes anything like mackerel, but do you have catfish? Because I do like some fried catfish too. Now let me go throw away these eggs. There we go. Wash your hands. Always wash your hands when you are working with meats, when you are working with eggs, when you are working with poultry, and when you are working with pork. You do not want trichinosis. You do not want salmonella. You do not want foodborne illness. A little salt, a little pepper. Come on. Yeah, there we go. All right. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Milk. I ran out of cow milk, we got goat milk. It does not make a difference, it tastes just as good. There we go. Let me check the chat. You don't have catfish. If you ever get the chance to try it, I would recommend it highly. It's not for everyone. People either love it or they hate it, and it's very, very strong. But you are used to eating strong-tasting fish, especially with the smoked fish. And I know that lutefisk is a thing over there. So if you can handle lutefisk, you're going to love catfish because it's nowhere near as strong. Let's whip... Oh, yeah. Let me go get the pan going first here. We're going to use the wrong pan again. But that's okay, because it'll be fine. Let's go cook some eggs. Again. Have people getting catfished. That is not exactly the same thing. Although, for the people that don't like it, the taste is probably just as unpleasant. People that don't like catfish, I mean, no one likes getting catfished. But, there we go. Get that spread around. Whisk our eggs. Beautiful. So, what other dishes do you have there that, we might not have seen a lot of around here? And even those of us who have seen them, we might not have eaten them a lot, or that, we might say, ugh, and, not think to try to eat it at first, and then find out it's actually pretty doggone tasty. What are your favorite dishes that are indigenous to your part of the world and that we might not have heard of before. I should have washed my spatula before I started these eggs. That's okay. We're gonna be alright if I hurry. Towel. I need a towel. Okay, here we go. Alright. Oh. Ha! Just in time. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. I am on top of things. Kind of. All right. And that's probably the last thing we're actually going to put on the stove this evening. Although I am going to show you guys me cutting up this quiche and show you what the inside of it looks like. And then I've got to clean this wreck of a kitchen up. I told you at the beginning of the stream I was going to destroy my kitchen. I have accomplished that. Although through stuff like this, I'm kind of trying to mitigate the effect of it as I go. But the dishwasher will have a full load tonight. Let's see here. Huge dumpling made of potato flour and salt and boiled in pork stock. That sounds wonderful. I'm gonna make that one night. That sounds just awesome. What is the proper name for it? Might I ask, just so that I can look up some good recipes for it. Hi Jesse, welcome back. Good to see you back. We just made some egg. I'm waiting for it to cool down for half a second before I make lamb sliders with it. Of course, we were going to put them on English muffins, but I used all the English muffins, so we're going to do more Hawaiian rolls, because lamb on Hawaiian roll with cheese and egg, that's going to be good. So let's get to it. We got lamb patties. We got more Hawaiian rolls. We got lots of these little buggers, don't we? And we're going to swap positions on those. Let me put this down so you guys can see what I'm doing once again. Okie dokie. And the great thing is I made these sized for English muffins. They're also really good on crumpets. Instead of English muffins, try doing your breakfast sandwiches with toasted crumpets. They're really, really good if you do it that way. I'm not even kidding. I should have got some crumpets for the lamb sliders, but we're gonna do Hawaiian rolls this time, and they're still gonna be great. Don't worry. All right, so same drill as last time. We can scooch the towel paper. You know what? Small working plate to keep the grease off of this. I've dirtied a ton of dishes already. One more is not going to hurt anything. If I have an extra one. Oh yeah, here we go. That's what I put this one here for. It's just got mushrooms on it. So, again. And these are big enough to where I wonder if we couldn't break them off and get, yeah, we can get more sandwiches out of that. That's going to be great. Now, lamb is an interesting beastie in that you can kind of do this with some jellies, like a mint jelly or some cherry, or even some Worcestershire, and some mustard, and it always comes out really good. I would put a little dot of mustard on this, but I don't know how that'll be going in the freezer and then reheating it and what the flavor will be like. So what I would suggest is when you get these out and microwave them, that is when you want to add a little drop of mustard to the top. Speaking of which, here's something that you might be familiar with, and you said, I think Norway, right? This is from Sweden, not Norway, but it is Lars brand spicy brown mustard, and the flavor of it is actually more sweet than spicy to me. But I don't know if you've seen that before, but I really like it. Let me put that back real quick. And we're going to start plating these things up, and I'm going to check the chat while I slice these rolls real quick. Komna. You can't decide what to have with the tilapia. Well, you could have some nice roasted and baked green beans with some olive oil and balsamic vinegar. You could have yourself some nice potatoes, and you could do refried potato skins. Put your potato in the microwave, get it good and soft, scoop out all the innards from the skin, stir them up with some like bacon and chives and some sour cream and all that, you know, paste it back into the potato skin, and then stick it in the oven and bake it up with some cheese on top. That'd be good to have with the tilapia. There's plenty of things you could do with the tilapia. Let's see, there we go. 3 of those. Get some cheese. Everybody loves cheese. Here we go. What else could you have with tilapia? I like roasted Brussels sprouts. What you do is you take the Brussels sprouts and you cut them in half, and you drizzle the tops with olive oil, and you lightly salt them or spice them however you want, but just a little touch of salt is enough. And then you just bake them in the oven until they are done. Put a little piece of cheese on that. That'll be fun. And so then you have some delicious Brussels sprouts done up real nice. Let me start wrapping these. Brussels sprouts are always good to eat with it. You can also do some zucchini that way. Zucchini's always good if you roast it in the oven with a little olive oil and salt and pepper. And you can, again, herb and spice it however you want. There is also the possibility of doing some stuff with some oven-roasted beets. Oven-roasted beets are good. You just slice them thin, lay them out, and roast them until they're the consistency you want. Any vegetable, especially root vegetables, or, you know, the pithier gourds and things like that, are really nice with fish because they offset it and add a little heartiness to the meal, and they make it feel like you're good and full, even though fish is a lighter protein. So those are all the recommendations I have that I can rattle off the top of my head. I didn't get enough plastic wrap for this one. Oh well, it'll be fine. Alrighty. There's one. There we go. Let me check and see what you guys are up to real quick while I slice these rolls. And you're limited on food in your house. Well, tell me what you've got, and I will tell you what to do with it. Or at least I'll give suggestions on what to do with it, because no one can tell you what to do with your own food. You can only suggest to someone. I wouldn't presume to tell anyone what they have to do. Oh, jeez. How could I forget the cheese? What is wrong with me? These are gonna be great. So let's just wrap these up. There we go. And while I cut this last pair of them here, let me go and see. What the hell am I doing? I forgot to put the egg on! So we're going to start putting the egg on now. I'm an idiot. egg. Egg is wonderful. Egg is life. Egg is protein. Egg needs to be on all of these. I'll unwrap the others in a minute and take care of it. But, yeah, or I'll just leave them as they are, and I'll just do some little egg sandwiches. It'll be great. I'll have more food. It'll be great. Okay, so, yeah, that was an oversight on my part, and I'm feeling kind of stupid, but that's okay. Everyone makes mistakes, and as a result of my mistake, I am now going to have more sandwiches, so I can't complain. And it doesn't do any good anyway. You know, always look at the best in things. I'm gonna have food for days. It'll be grand. And that's nothing to complain about, y'all. That's something to be happy about. If you have food and a roof over your head and the lights are on and life is generally good and all of your friends and family are reasonably healthy, you have everything you need, and everything else is icing on the cake. Enjoy the icing on the cake. And don't ever feel bad for enjoying anything. Don't feel bad for enjoying the food you like. Don't feel bad for, doing the hobbies you like. Don't ever think, well, gee, maybe I should be doing something else other than this thing that makes me happy. Because, life is about finding what makes you happy, where you can, and how you can. And if you are happy and enjoying what you're doing, you are succeeding. And that's the long and the short of it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go check and see what you guys are talking about real quick while I wrap up these sandwiches. And I'll be right back here. Let's see. Potato salad and peaches. That sounds wonderful. I love potato salad. Green beans and corn for veggies, and those are both canned. You can do some wonderful stuff with corn. Bread, but I don't know if that goes all right with fish. What kind of bread do you have? As far as the canned corn, here's what you do. You open up that corn. You drain that corn really well. Get all the water off of it. And then you throw it in a skillet with some butter, some salt, and lots of black pepper. And you fry it up until it starts to kind of caramelize and get slightly brown and crispy around the edges, and you have some fried corn. It is absolutely not healthy compared to like baked corn or something like that. Wait a minute, didn't you say you can't have fried food? Well, then this suggestion is for other people. But you can do fried corn in the pan for the rest of you. If you can't fry it, let's see, for that can of corn, you could always do creamed corn. But what was the other thing you had? You could always mix it into a potato cake and do a kind of a little fritter. You cook up your potatoes, you mix your corn in with it, fry it. Bake it. Don't fry it. And make kind of a frittata sort of thing, or a casserole. Casseroles. Corn is okay in casseroles, I guess. I like peas in a tuna noodle casserole. But let's see, what else did you say you have? Green beans in a can. I mean, dry them and bake them with some olive oil if you want something a little different. But, heck, just cook those up like normal green beans. Some water and a little, bit of pork or something, or, butter something to give them some flavor, a little salt in the water towards the end, and pepper them up when you get them on your plate. Green beans are always good. I've never met a green... Well, I won't say I've never met a green bean I didn't like. There are very few people that can screw up green beans, but I've encountered all of them, probably. That said, most of the time, there's not a lot you can do to mess up a green bean. So here's just some little plain old egg sandwiches, and if I had a little dollop of mayonnaise for each of these, because they're just plain egg, I'd probably do that. Interestingly enough, when I was a kid in elementary school, my grandmother, on my dad's side, would make me egg sandwiches for lunch, and they would be just scrambled eggs on plain white bread with a dollop of mayonnaise on the bread, and then she would take it and wrap it in cling film, plastic wrap, saran wrap, whatever you call it wherever you are. And when she got it wrapped good and tight, she would squeeze it for all it was worth until it would be about that thin. And then it would sit in my lunchbox until lunch all day, and then I would eat it, and it would be magnificent. So, since I have all this egg left over that I didn't put on the lamb sliders, we're going to make, in honor of my grandmother, little tiny, super thin egg sandwiches. Now, they're on Hawaiian rolls and not white bread, but I bet they're still going to taste good. That said, I am down to my last 2 Hawaiian rolls. So let's wrap these things up, and I'm probably going to start kind of... I'll show you what the quiche looks like, and then I need to start cleaning my kitchen and actually actively think about eating a proper dinner, because cooking all this food and nibbling on it is one thing, but I haven't actually eaten anything yet, and I'm starting to get hungry. Let me check on you guys real quick. Give me a second. Yeah, we're squeezing our egg sandwiches. See the difference? Let me check on you real quick. Regular loaf bread, like regular white bread, you could always do something with it. You could bake it. Do you have tomato puree, tomato paste, even a whole tomato in your house? And do you have anything that would go with it, like, you know, in the cabinet, herbs or spices or cheese or anything like that? Because what you can do is get a little olive oil or melted butter and brush it on your bread. And then you lay your sliced tomatoes on it. Toast one side of the bread, you know, or halfway toasted if you're using a toaster oven or a pop-up toaster. Little olive oil, herbs and spices, basil and oregano works really well. Put your tomato on top of the bread. Little mozzarella cheese if you have it. Bake it onto the bread, and you have almost kind of a little pizza bread, or sort of a caprese sort of thing going on, and that wouldn't be half bad at all. You could also let the bread sit out and get stale for a little bit if you're going to do a salad later. And then you cut it up into little cubes and toss it with some balsamic vinegar and whatever herbs and spices you like. I like powdered garlic and onion. And you could then turn around and spread it out in the toaster oven and make croutons. Pumpernickel bread is really good for making croutons, for salads and things like that. I think I have wrapped up all but this last one, and we're going to make an egg sandwich out of it. And that is going to be my food for the week, guys. That's going to be an egg and cheese sandwich. We're going to put a piece of cheese on that one. That'll be a nice surprise when I get to it. Although I will say this, when you surprise people with something that's in their food, it should always, and I can't stress this enough, be a pleasant surprise. That said, yeah, there's our last slider for the evening. Let me pile these all up and show you guys. Get this greasy piece of towel paper out of the way real quick. Give me a moment. And let's pile up the rest of our sliders and show you. Look at here, guys. Food! Ain't it awesome? All right. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the last ones. I am going to pack them into the bag that the Hawaiian rolls came in. And again, if you were curious, and I don't know if you even can get them where you are, because you have not heard of them, and if you were from the States, I think they're everywhere here. But if you ever see Hawaiian rolls, they're just little sweet rolls. They're wonderful, and I mean, they make them in different shapes, but the classic ones are these little dinner rolls. they're definitely worth a try. And if you can get your hands on some, do. And if not, they're just a little sweet yeast roll. They're very soft. They're very bready. You know, like if you cut them and the knife slips and you get like a little sliver, it just kind of peels off and stays moist. And they squish real easy and don't bounce back. So they're not dry. They're very wet bread. And they're tasty. So, I mean, whatever equivalent you have to that would work just fine. I don't know why I'm folding this up and putting it over here like I'm going to use it later, because I need it right now. Let's pack our little sandwiches away. And we're going to get it stuck in the freezer. And then I am going to try to find someone to host in a minute so that I can go clean up my kitchen and eat dinner. Oh, I didn't get that one wrapped all the way. Okay, we'll get that taken care of in a second. So while I do this, let me check on you guys for probably the second to last time for the evening. Let's see here. Yeah, King's is good. Aunt Millie makes some decent ones too, but King's Hawaiian rolls, I think they're the original, and they're really good. Like I said earlier, ham sandwiches with a little mustard or some sauteed onion glaze with pineapple. Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see. You have tomatoes. Yeah, okay. There you go. Yeah, so you can do kind of like a caprese toast kind of thing with your bread, and that's a little bit different and a little bit heartier than just bread and toast, and a little more amusing too. If you want to, like if you have tomato sauce and cheeses and things like that, you can go full-fledged pizza with your bread. Although Hawaiian bread, French bread and Italian bread are both really good to make a French bread pizza out of, especially the ones that have little sesame seeds on it, because they taste so good. I'm going to put my little bag of treasure in the freezer here real quick. I'll be right back. Let's see. Well, I got to find room for it. There we go. And yeah, everything's good to go. Look at this. The little breakfast biscuits with the sausage and the egg and the cheese, they're already frozen. When you get these out, unwrap them. Wrap a piece of towel paper around them. Microwave oven. Microwave them on one side for a minute. Flip them over, about 30 seconds to 45 seconds on the other side. A minute if you've got a low-powered one. And these are beautiful for breakfast. They'll keep you going all day. I'll eat one at about 7:30. I'm good until 3:30 in the afternoon. 15:30 for my European friends. All right, let's show you guys this quiche real quick. Let me make room for it. And here we have it. A piece of it is going to be my dinner. Let me plate it up for you and show you. My last knife for the evening, too. I use more dishes when I stream. But we're just going to cut that. And go that way on it. I'm not messing around. I'm just quartering it. Go big or go home, huh? Plate to put it on. Alrighty. Now, oh yeah, quiche. The outside is good and crispy. It's got a nice little wonderful caramelization. The inside, let me lift it so you can see it, is good and fluffy and cakey and wonderful, and all of the wonderful tomatoes and stuff is baked in. Let me put it down so you can see it. There you go. that is what a quiche should look like. And I love this little chewy bits on the outside where the cheese is kind of gathered and caramelized and all that. That is my favorite. So let me get you guys back up here. Wash my hands. And so that's it. We did haggis and black pudding sliders. We did hoagies. We did quiche. We did lamb sliders. We did breakfast biscuits with sausage, egg, and cheese. I was going to do asparagus. I didn't do asparagus. Cookie sheet, olive oil, salt and pepper, oven, out of oven, eat. That's it. That is it for the evening, guys. I'm going to run over to the chat and see if any of you guys have any more questions. And then I'm going to see who's streaming and throw the host over to them. But before I do that, I wanted to say thank you, guys. You've been talking to me all evening. You've been watching me cook. You've been offering encouragement and advice and chit-chatting and keeping me company. And I can't tell you how much fun it has been to have you guys in my kitchen and being able to chat with you while I'm doing this and for you to spend your time with me. And I wanted to thank you very, very much. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate you being here. Let me go see what you guys are saying real quick, and also figure out who we're going to throw the host over to this evening. Give me a sec. I'm going to check on you guys, and I'll be right back to say goodbye. But yes, that and the fact that because I'm trying to keep clean plates that are pleasant to look at and not get cluttered, I tend to just, when one gets kind of odd looking or scungy looking or something like that, I mean, it's clean and it's sanitary, but it doesn't look real nice, like it's got some glop hanging off the edge. I'll just huck that one in the sink and get a fresh one so that it looks nice for everyone watching and it's not unappetizing. As far as the other thing, yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Fake Sayo Ken. Thank you, Pants, if you're still here. Heat, if you're still here. Bacon Maker, if you're still... Anyone who's still here and who has either been talking to me or anyone who's just been lurking for the evening. Thank you all so much. Who are we going to host tonight? Let me see who of my friends are online. Oh, yes. Well, we've got Bacon Maker and we've got Battery Powered Specs. Bacon Maker came in to say hi to me tonight. So we are throwing the stream over to Bacon Maker, guys. He's a really great guy, and I like playing Brawlhalla with him. And we'll go into that story the next time I see him, because I want him in stream so he can defend himself. That said, thank you again. I'm going to throw the stream over to Bacon Maker, and have a great evening. Take care.